your first time here at ICE. What's your initial impression?
It's surreal. It's pretty amazing, the scale of it all. My first impression was that I felt like I was in a casino in the middle of an airport. Which I don't know if they have those, so if someone from ICE is watching, it's a good opportunity, I think, break into that market.
Tell me a little bit about your specialist field. I understand it's sort of monetizing online activity.
Yeah.
What will you be telling the seminar later today?
Yeah, so I'll be talking about how really every marketer, if they're trying to drive growth, by growth I mean new customer acquisition, you really need to find these scalable channels that you're able to, ultimately, if you need to drive acquisition, what can you invest your paid media spend in? And what we've seen is there's some channels that work really well, but eventually you cap out and they begin to fatigue. So how do we find new ones? And talking about what we believe is going to be a real new emerging channel that you can capitalize on from your existing audience, and that kind of feeds into really what our platform does.
So what are your objectives, would you say, this week at ICE?
Well, we're really trying to meet a lot of people, get our name out there. We've been a big success story in the U.S. The Inc. 5000 listed us as the fastest growing software company in the country. And we very recently, about mid to late last year, opened a UK office. So we kind of see this as our coming out party. We're trying to really get our name in front of as many people as we can, make some connections, hang out, have a good time.
And how important is this event, do you think, to getting your name out there as an industry event?
Huge, yeah. I mean, gaming is a massive industry in this company, in this country, especially when it comes to digital. And from my understanding, this is the premier conference for that. So this is a really important week for us, yeah.
So what key messages would you like the industry to take away from here with regard to your area?
Try really focusing on ways that you can identify the traffic that's on your website. So right now, with I think basic marketing tactics, you end up having really this view of visitors in that session on that device from whatever channel they came in from. And what you really need to understand is, how can I use the information that I have about a given visitor to help them ultimately convert when they come back in different sessions? Because we need to acknowledge as marketers, and more so now that people have multiple devices and are more connected than ever, that conversion isn't necessarily going to happen in that session. It very rarely does, but that doesn't mean that visitor can't come back and would not come back. They will. So how can you identify who they are when they do return down to the person, and market to them off-site through existing channels that you have to make them more likely to come back based on the information that you have.
So what then, I mean, is that all part of what are the more sort of more innovations and disruptions taking place within your sector? Pretty closely linked. It's a bit of a recap.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, before, when digital marketers were really relying on cookies to identify people, which ultimately were proven to be a very ineffective, inaccurate way of doing so, you really were able to only look at analytics in that single session view. And what that made people, and by people I mean marketers, really focus on is, how can I get every single visitor to convert in this session? And that ultimately, when you think about conversion rate optimization, there are some low-hanging fruit and gains to be had by doing that, and everyone should, but once they have really optimized their site to the level that they can and the level that it's able to, the next step is understanding, okay, if this visitor isn't going to convert in this session, what are some other ways that I can ultimately monetize them, maybe not now, but later on in their second or third visit to the site.
So what new business opportunities then are opening up because of your work?
Ultimately, it comes back to fueling customer growth, and especially for an industry like gaming, where the growth has been pretty explosive and looks like it's continuing to rise, and there's so much competition out there. The real focus becomes, in any competitive field, how can I retain existing customers, sure, but also the growth to any company is going to be activating new customers and turning them into repeat customers.
Finally then, your first time at ICE, as you mentioned,
yeah.
What else are you hoping to get out of the few days that you're spending here?
I mean, I definitely want to go check out some of the booths. There seem to be some massive ones. Maybe after the speech, I'll go find a cocktail somewhere. But it's my first, I think, real opportunity to really check out the city of London. I've been a couple times for brief stays, and it's an amazing city. It's somewhere I've always wanted to come when I was younger. Back when I was in a few punk bands, and I was a bit of a skater when I was a teenager, and so London's kind of this legendary holy land when it comes to those two cultures. So to really kind of get a sense of the city, look around, eat at some good restaurants, and take in some good nightlife. Yeah.
Great, Kris. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck with the
sure.
talk.